Today's topic: what does a footballer's overall rating actually mean? What does it stand for? Why is Messi the player with the highest overall rating in football history? As football video games have evolved, everyone has become very familiar with player ratings. But because of game balance, game mechanics, and in-game body models, a lot of a player's quality cannot be fully reflected in the game. This is especially true for technical players, whose impact depends heavily on the user's control. In contrast, pure speed players tend to be more overpowered. So today, I will break down a real-life player's overall from 4 different angles. These 4 aspects are physical attributes, technical ability, football IQ, and feel for the game. First up is physical ability. Physical ability refers to pace, acceleration, core strength, reaction speed, balance, coordination, physical tools, body frame, and so on. In football, there is no such thing as a player with perfect physical tools. It is all about your strengths and advantages. The most straightforward example is Messi. If Messi had a bigger frame, his acceleration and low center of gravity balance would not be as good. Compared with many other sports, football has much looser requirements on body type. That is one of the reasons why football is the world's #1 sport. Because whether you are 1.6 meters or 1.9 meters tall, you can still carve out your own space in the game. There is another key point to stress. A big frame does not automatically mean you are strong in duels. A big frame simply gives you an edge in body positioning when you are marking, intercepting, or challenging for aerial balls. Being big does not equal being dominant physically. Being small does not equal being weak in duels. Just look at Messi, Maradona, and others. This is completely different from how football video games work. Video games are overly obsessed with body models. Do not let games mislead you. The second aspect is technical ability. In the most direct terms, that is passing, first touch, dribbling, and finishing. Passing, controlling, carrying, and shooting are the 4 basic skills. Every footballer has to train these from the moment they start playing. For goalkeepers, there is an extra one: shot stopping. Passing, control, dribbling, and shooting for a player's basic technique. In my opinion, if you want to be a king of football, you need to be absolutely elite in all 4 of these areas. In other words, technical ability is one of the necessary, but not sufficient, conditions to become the best. The third point is football IQ. Football IQ refers to how a player makes decisions on the ball, on the pitch, and their awareness in movement and positioning. If a player's decisions on the ball get him shouted at by fans every game, that shows his football IQ is really low. If every time he gets the ball, you naturally praise what he does, that means his football IQ is very high. Let me give an example. Barra's current left back Bale. His biggest problem is his football IQ. So whenever watching Barra, I often find myself asking Bale, why not play the cutback there? Why not link up with a teammate? Of course, if your other qualities are strong enough. For example, if you can just dribble past everyone and score, then football IQ is less crucial. Football as a sport is multi-dimensional. If your football IQ is high, but all your other attributes are poor, that does not work either. Whether your technique and IQ can be fully expressed depends to a large degree on your physical ability. That is why some players can look like kings in lower tier leagues, but struggle as soon as they go to a league with higher intensity. Just like in the top 5 European players such as Janjenko and Boog barely got a look in. But once they moved to MLS, their numbers suddenly exploded. These are classic examples of players with excellent technique, but physical attributes and other abilities that cannot keep up with the intensity of the top 5 leagues. The last aspect is feel for the game. Here, feel for the game can be split into feel for the ball itself and sense of space on the pitch. Feel for the ball means judging where the ball will drop and how well you can control it. Sense of space on the pitch, put simply, is vision and reading of the game because players are on the pitch in a first-person perspective, whereas we as spatial broadcasters or play games from a bird's eye view. What the player sees on the pitch is completely different from what we see on TV. Anyone who has actually played will know what that means. So when people often say, seems to have a god's eye view, it is because their sense of space on the pitch is like having a third eye open. They can very quickly scan and pick out where their teammates are, and then deliver the ball to their feet. For details, just look at Messi's pass against the Netherlands at the World Cup. So, these are the 4 dimensions of individual ability in a player, in my view. So why say, Messi is the player with the highest overall rating in football history? Put it like this. In all 4 aspects just mentioned, Messi is at the very top. In terms of physical attributes, young Messi's pace, acceleration, and physical tools were all top tier. For evidence, look at Messi's miracle performance against Real Madrid. His technical ability needs no extra words. Passing, first touch, dribbling, and finishing are all ceiling level. Messi's football IQ has been growing year after year since his debut. Now, his football IQ has basically maxed out. As for feel for the game, again, look at Messi's first touch and run against Nigeria at the World Cup, and his assist against the Netherlands. Those are all ceiling level moments. That is why the version of Messi from the December 2011 season is what I rate as the highest overall player. Here are the details. In that season, Messi scored 83 goals for club and country combined, and provided 34 assists. One player in a single season directly produced 117 goals, while averaging 4.6 successful dribbles per game, and 2.8 key passes per game, all while operating as a central line-breaking force. And remember, beating 5 players in one move only counts as 1 successful dribble. That is still just 1 dribble in the stats, so 83 goals, 34 assists, plus 4.6 successful dribbles per game, plus 2.8 key passes per game. What do these numbers actually mean? Last season's Ballon d'Or winner Dembele put up 35 goals, 14 assists, 1.5 successful dribbles per game, and 2.4 key passes per game. Put the 2 side by side, you can see just how ridiculous peak Messi really was. And even then, numbers still cannot fully capture a player's true level. Once you actually watch Messi's clips, you will be even more blown away.